Okay, I'd like to call our meeting to order today. Since we all know everybody here, we don't need to worry about introductions unless anyone would like to. First thing we need to do is elect a secretary for the day. We have a nominee. Thank you, Member Reed. Very kind of you.
Okay.
Yeah, that's right. That's how it goes.
Explain to him, he wants to know what it's.
So the secretary is not present, so we have to appoint someone to serve to sign.
Who does not already have a role as an officer.
Okay.
So you would certify that the review and the votes happened as they appear, sign the secretary pro tem.
Okay. This,
Are you willing and able to fulfill these duties?
I am.
Minutes is long.
I love it.
The Land Banks Council will guide you along the way as needed. All right, so we have a motion to appoint Osmond Reed as our acting secretary for the day. Do we have a second? Second. Moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. All right, thank you again. Then, yeah, so I'll just again note what we were saying right before the meeting, that there appears to be potentially a conflict between our meeting and council schedules, so that's something we'll need to look into following this meeting. Next item of business is approval of our December board meeting minutes. Are there any questions or comments? Hearing none, do we have a motion to approve?
So
Wow. We have a motion and a second. Moved and seconded, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. We'll move on to the treasurer's and cash disbursements reports. Mr. Treasurer.
All right, disbursements on the month, so December 20th through today, $154,438.79 as categorized above. Insurance payment to Coon for $5,012. Payment to the city of Rochester for the water bill on 346K for $239. Various property management services through Victoria's Turnkey for $2,300. Additional rehab work at 88 Rosemary to Rosario Home Improvements for $68,200. Property management services through North Coast Property Associates for $400. An RG&E payment of $25 for 88 Rosemary. A security monitoring payment to EMS for $35. And then we had property development, landmark property development work at 236 Weaver Street. That was $30,000. And lastly, this is a journal entry to reimburse the city for payroll adjustments of $48,000. That covers the last 2 quarters. Switching over to the treasurer's reports, there was no revenue on the month, so revenue is 0, and the expenses we've gone over already. Any questions?
Being none, thank you for your monthly report. We'll move on to the first of 3 resolutions for the meeting and for the year. Resolution number 1 is to enter into an agreement with a strategic planning consultant.
yes, it's a very exciting time. These are the proposals that we received from strategic. Feel free to pass around and look. Many of you are on the steering committee, as you're aware, but we have been over the course of the last year, maybe spring of last year. There has been a steering committee with several members of the board and some subject matter experts from the city, from planning and the Department of NBD, Human Business Development, yeah. To guide the land bank in a choice for, a strategic planning consultant. We developed an RFP, based on our specific needs and our time horizon. We issued an RFP in September. We received 3 proposals. There were some interviews conducted, and the steering committee has made a recommendation based on proposal and those interviews that the land bank hire the Center for Community Progress to help guide us through the strategic planning development process. We're looking for a 5-year strategic plan. You all are probably very familiar with the Center for Community Progress. They are the national experts of land banking. They helped write the Land Bank Act for many states, including New York. They are very directly involved with the State Land Bank Association here in New York. And there is someone from the organization, which is based in Washington, Michigan. He's based here in Broome County, in Binghamton, and so it is on the ground. And there are 2 other experts, one from Pennsylvania and Washington, also be part of our team. There was discussion within the steering committee that it might be useful to have some other type of analysis in conjunction with the strategic planning. Some more specific analysis, numbers-based analysis that could help us make more project-based decisions. And that is certainly on the table. The cost for the strategic plan is such that there are still funds available if we need some more specific analysis of our environment. So if there are any questions or. Yes.
We have a sense of, and we may talk about this a little bit later, as far as the timing, once we go under contract with them, how long will it take for them to actually develop a plan?
So the Center for Community Progress came in with an 8-month planning, 8-month time period from inception to the delivery of the plan, which seemed a little long to us. That does seem to be their experience though in doing it, but they said that if we were able to get underway in January, there are opportunities potentially to condense it, and we did express to them that we would like to have a plan in place before the next fiscal year, July 1st. So that will be, something, discussion that will happen as we move forward to contract, but they are available. At the time we initially issued the RFP, they were at capacity, so our thorough, not dithering analysis of what we needed seemed to work out as they were able to provide most of the time.
Was the decision unanimous?
The decision was unanimous among the members of the steering committee who provided rate. There was also discussion that seemed to indicate an agreement with your proposal that as far as the overarching strategic plan, that was the best choice, but we were using other analysis. So that is something we certainly should look into.
I'm biased, John, but Center for Community Progress was the only respondent who indicated that they had legal counsel. So,
Well,
Does that mean something to you?
a little bit.
Well, I would be in favor of continuing to have those committee meetings so we could have that separate conversation about perhaps additional services that the main fund. So if we want to schedule another one, I'd be in favor of.
Right, okay.
part of that.
I think the thought with the steering committee initially was that we would have them put the front end and then at the back end, when we had a draft, bring them back to also just at that point, but I think it would be.
Yeah, that's right.
Huh? Oh, okay. Why not now?
Just so we can keep the momentum going. I would do.
It would certainly make sense to do so and for that group to be engaged about. It's been a long time talked about, so pretty excited to get to this point. Much needed, so. Any other thoughts, comments, questions, concerns? Valid. I think that means that member Reed, you are relieved.
I will relinquish. Yeah.
Oh, no problem at all. No problem at all. We were concerned that there might be a conflict with the council schedule.
Yeah, I don't know what they were thinking, but,
Yeah.
yeah,
We need to
Okay.
make changes. That's-
yeah, my day is gonna be like a run-on day, like. Need one, and I left my, and you could tell I'm frantic, because I left my phone in the car, so I gotta go back downstairs and get my phone, so.
It's not a good thing. Okay, so without any additional questions, do we have a motion?
Second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Look forward to seeing that day from the way. We will move on to resolution number 2.
Okay. I lost that.
All right, I'll take this one. So if you're excited about that one, there's another one you're gonna be excited about. So we're asking for authorization to approve the sale of 2 properties. 4 Brooklyn and 266 Glendale. We included a map so you can see the configuration they're adjoining. And so the individual is purchasing these properties. $27,299 price. And this is going to be an owner.
Wonderful.
Yeah, like you might like that one.
Love that.
Yeah, right, so, they'll be getting an acquisition rehab mortgage from home headquarters, CDFI in Syracuse, as part of the, Rebuilding the Dream program. Yeah, Ryan's just bumping over here, right? So we're excited to see this one go through. Again, this is a wonderful opportunity to create an owner occupant. Tally one for the good guys.
Yeah, you're the wrong one, I'm sorry. That's all right. Can I give
Yeah, yeah.
this one
Yeah,
to
we're
you
gonna
to keep,
cover that.
and then,
What was the, what is it, is there a building on that, or is it just a lot?
No, there's a house on that. It takes up pretty much the entire lot, with very little exception. So Land Bank intentionally acquired the 266 Glenwood from the city so that we could have an adjoining lot, so we could give this, because otherwise there's no yard, you can't get a vehicle up and drive off the road.
We're in the
There's no
process.
side yard and stuff.
we subdivided.
So are the buildings connected, or are they separate?
Well, there's no building. 266 is a vacant lot.
Oh, I'm sorry, I was reading it the wrong thing, the other way around.
Yeah, so configuration will be the same as the other lots you see along Glenwood.
Yeah.
You look at, the house in this one is kind of pushed toward the northern end there.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Are there any
No, that's your
proposals
60.
from like
I had it
the
actually.
for like a garage or anything?
We haven't heard that yet.
What were you saying?
No, I was just asking if there are any plans to put like a garage or anything like that portion.
Not in our scope. of work.
Yeah, we haven't seen that yet. Right now, it's just gonna be rehab the house, combine the lots. Or your new house.
So we already have the scope and any kind of thing and. What, Joanna's group is gonna be, no, they're not gonna do any
So-
road at all.
No,
Okay.
this is the, we do have a scope, we did have a final fee,
Oh, okay, so
we
we get that,
selected the,
okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Do you have a sense of what it's gonna cost?
uh,
You put the total development.
Total development for. You know what I'm talking
For
Brooklyn.
I think it's
Was it over,
Is it-
is it over two?
it's over 200.
218 maybe?
I think so. It's over 200.
I believe it.
Yeah, tiny little house, but it costs a lot.
And is there anything you know about the park?
They're gonna live.
Local resident, no other property holding.
Okay,
Yeah.
are they needing to go through home buyer services?
They should.
It will be, yeah.
Well, good news all around on this one. Any other? Motion.
Move it.
Moved and seconded, all in favor, say aye.
Right.
Voted. Carried.
Feel like that, already hear this one.
Oh, getting better, getting better. Resolution number 3.
Okay. Oh, perfect. Okay, so yes, so. The land bank, even longer than the strategic plan, has been meeting to try and get together. A new construction project, to take advantage of the affordable homeownership. Program fund, homeownership opportunity program funds, at the state level to construct affordable housing. We have been working, with, Rochester Cornerstone, group. There were lots that the land bank had acquired, over the course of time in the Josana neighborhood. And Cornerstone has, a significant presence in the Josana neighborhood and has done, some affordable housing work there. At the same time that Habitat was doing their, new construction there, they were doing, affordable rental there. And has very close ties with the neighborhood group that's there, it still continues to meet after that project. So it seemed like a good match for the lots that we had available. Tax proposed lots to partner with, this known revenue developer to develop some properties for home ownership. We, have put together a project. We made application to the state in September. Just prior to that, we were awarded a grant from the Excel Foundation, providing everything else in line to support that project. And so we are now, we've submitted our application. We are in the, we're working towards getting our application to underwriting. The state is very excited about the project that we put together. And part of our underwriting process is that we need to, they need documentation of all the funds that are going into the project. So formalizing the funds that the land bank will committing to the project is part of that process.
Will there be an opportunity to take advantage of state's next program that provides additional or more subsidy, at least on some of the properties?
Well, so what we have discovered is block by block cannot be layered with the affordable homeownership program. However, there are many lots in this neighborhood. And while we are in the process of vetting a number of lots, both the land bank owned and the ones that we have requested the city place on hold for this land bank project, a number of them, there are some environmental or structural concerns, but it is a neighborhood where there's been a lot of investment, and that has shifted the balance, and we are certainly going to continue to see if there's an opportunity. What neighborhood? Horizontal. Okay.
Yeah, I was
just to throw it out there, because all of you were not here. We did this already with Cornerstone before COVID, and we subsidized 20 new builds. So hopefully it'll be a success off. Just want to throw it out.
They've got a good history.
The same amount of money or less? No, it was a gap
This is-
for affordable rental
Mhm.
housing. but-
It was on a two.
Okay. I think we should say it's six.
Well,
We didn't do,
but it's the same.
well,
What I'm saying is Stadium Estates is Josanda.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's
It
the
was the
one.
same.
I couldn't think of. it.
That's fine as well. And so. Do we have a remaining funding gap on this?
We do.
We do, okay.
So what I was just kind of inquiring about, let's say block by block, just in another discussion that I was seeing, is that you can use some funds as opposed to maybe funding the whole 20 AHOP funding 10 maybe with the new program and 10 with the others. So that's okay.
and
So
are discussing it.
okay, so
Right.
that's what, yeah, so that's why I brought up the question, even though I know that the two can't be layered together, but if, yeah.
We've done all the redevelopment work. We've always.
Confused as anyone we already are.
I think
Yeah. One funded with AHOP, 10 funded with AHOP, 10 funded with block by block.
they are a little different. They have different income requirements and block by block is, it has to be below 10 below. So it's something.
Okay, well, very curious to know why. As we by the block, this is block by blocks, they already did it.
Block by block. Well, just to know that they kind of,
I wonder where they came up with it.
exactly,
Can you imagine?
yeah.
I swear.
Say no more.
All right. Do we have any other questions on this item? Hearing none, do we have a motion to approve? Moved and seconded, all in favor? Opposed? Motion there.
I got it. No, we'll get more. Yeah, so thank you. Those are all the voting items, right? That's all the
That's all the voting.
official.
All the voting.
Thank you. Okay. Have a good day. I did not sign
Do
it.
you have your packet with you?
Did she sign?
Because the
Did I give you
draft
the-
of their annual report is
Can I
in.
get-
you
Okay.
you have one.
Did she sign everything?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah.
That one, right? Mhm. Right.
Just in case we need to have Kevin come back. Sign it. Who's- Motion.
For which one?
3.
Lachey Harris and John Fornoff, did he second?
No. I think-
Oh, Eric, I'm sorry.
Good, we checked. Thank you. All right.
All right. That was fun. We'll move on to our primary discussion item of the day. 2025 annual report. Ryan, the country council. But see how that.
Here. No, illustrious chair will be presenting. that. And I believe that we are all set for February 11th, which is February, council committee for the NBE. Not NBE, but the council committee that deals with things related to, you know,
Okay, so we'll lead off next committee with this presentation.
all right. So we put this together, it's a draft, obviously, and certainly encouraging input over the course of time before it is presented, but because the meeting is referring to its presentation, I will quickly just run through, the highlights for this year, we're on the rehabilitation dream, which we expect to launch either just before or very shortly after this presentation is made, with our websites going online with 3 properties available for sale. The properties are the ones that are currently being stabilized, we're calling it, with various different funding sources. So that the exteriors have been repaired, bringing down the total development costs and making them more accessible to income qualified homeowners. There is the new construction that we just mentioned that was happening in the Jazana neighborhood that we are applying for state funds to support. And there's our illustrious strategic plan consultants who we will be working with to develop a 5-year plan. Of course, like the upcoming year, the process that allowed us to hone in what we do previously this. The administrative activities show how very busy this board was in the last year. Much busier than has been in the year, so it's exciting to see that even if outcomes are not coming together, they're at least the work prior to it should be done. Our annual budget was approved in April. I'm not shortly, so we will bring that to the number 2. The annual meeting is on September 19th. And then the projects for the year. This is, we have updated where we are with our land bank phase 2 grants. We have received $900,000 to use for various project acquisition of properties, stabilization of property, and pre-development investigation and environmental issues for various properties. The deadline for those funds was December 1st, but we did obtain an extension through June 1st. So we are fairly certain we will not need the time. We should have that cushion. As of our most recent draw, we've drawn down just under 55% of the funding. But as you can see by what we asked you to approve this month, it is certainly been spent at a much faster rate. Bringing the construction management piece of our stabilization project under our own control was expedited. So we fully expect to spend those funds within possibly the first quarter. When the land bank is has spent 75% of its award, and LBI 2 phase 2 is now a rolling fund. It's continuously open and can make application if we have projects upcoming that need funding at that point. So the 9 properties that are part of that project, we have actually completed, drawn down all funds for at least one of those. The new construction for homeownership we just described, it's the we have been looking at the affordable homeownership program and how we can participate homeownership opportunity program. It provides $200,000 in construction financing for units. And so we are in the process of narrowing down our list to make sure that we have sites that we know what sites we're going to be using, so that as you report, things we can do environmental investigation, which is probably the longest portion of the things that hinder getting to close that construction financing. So that has been a long process on our end. It is continuing and it's nearing the end, so that we can finalize that application. We also have been selling properties that were not suitable for any of our programs through our property sales page online. We have sold 8 properties in that way, and we have sold to many who have not previously bought land bank properties. And as you'll see at the end of the document, 2 of those properties have already completed their rehabilitation. And so that is a a viable way to dispose of properties in a responsible way, in an efficient way, without meeting the level of capacity that we may have needed in the past to put on large sales events. So if there are properties that are not suitable for a project, such as go forward to that site and now get known more broadly to seeking to expand the pool of qualified developers. The initiatives we are highlighting. There is a phase one of the land bank initiative that is operational funding. And so that provides support for our property management and our and insurance. And it also contributes to funding a initially it was one position that was dedicated for the land bank, and that position is now shifted. We have been able to expand our capacity in the real estate division and got support from an additional real estate specialist with the help of this funding. This is the third and last year of the funding that we've already been awarded, but it is very likely that there will be another round. It came out in the spring last time. Again, my understanding is that there are discussions about potentially increasing the amount of funding, perhaps either increasing the tiers so that there are there's more funds available for operations, but the land bank association, the state association itself has conveyed the message that yes, thank you, this is not enough. And given that there have been funds awarded each budget year, there's certain funds that have not been spent with HCR. So I will keep you posted as another round is out. Our grant goes through, it's a little later than maybe some of the other grantees ours goes through September. And I believe the many of the grantees started in June, so got a little. Rehabilitate the dream. As I mentioned, it's the acquisition rehab program for owner occupants. And we will be starting with 3 properties on our website that will have been stabilized the exterior so that bringing the cost down. Applicants will need to apply with home headquarters, using our application with home headquarters, which is also in conjunction with that application is the HVAC application, so that to show that they're eligible for the amount of funds that are necessary to buy and rehab the home. We currently have ARPA funds that we can contribute to subsidy if that's necessary, actually helping us reach a lower income target. But even as if those funds do not, obviously those funds are not continued, but even if there are not grant funds available for perpetuity, the stabilization at the front end, we believe will allow us to sell to income qualified owner occupants through this program that started. So yeah, so these 3 will go hopefully within the next month. And our strategic plan, our board selected in January 2025 a strategic planning consultant, and so we will be hopefully contracting with them in the near term and go through that plan to get us to the next 5 years. Our financials are the financials that are reflected in the annual report. This is the annual report that happens in September to the state. We're voting for its budget office, and so you'll have seen that included. You can see there that significant surplus that we have trying to whittle down and do an admirable job, if I say so myself. Upcoming activities. And again, we will take it through. We do anticipate that there will be more properties as the properties that we purchased at the tax foreclosure auction number 9, and we're going to be also put into that program. Yeah. We continue to partner, as we mentioned, with OHA, we are still looking at that partnership, and that was fostered through the involved with the city's grant. We've also reached out to FCC, we might go participate further with that homeownership opportunity that was provided on that grant. And we continue to work with the I'm sorry, with the NYLBN, we are. I don't always trust, their stats, but we'll have to say. The next page are the acquisitions that occurred during since the last presentation to council, or that remain in our inventory since last resolution. So as you can see, we are holding properties longer in inventory because we are putting them for use in projects ourselves rather than funneling them to all of them to partners. Although we did sell some properties to Rochester RGFC operates home Rochester, but some of these properties are staying in our inventory until we can use them for projects, homeownership projects, our sites. Now we're funding available to do so. And then, so we've done 3 pages. There are photos of properties that the first 2, Hardy and Wilder, are properties that are sold on our website to pre-qualified investors who have the properties, gotten the CFO, and are these properties are not occupied. They've been blighted before. So those are 2 that have been completed. And then the following 6 are properties that are in the last report, and it shows they were under construction in the last report, and you can see their completed status, what it looked like now. Haven't gone through this much. So any input, please feel free to sort of email your staff. If you would like to see something else in this report, or you look confused.
No, I'm looking at page 13. I think that should be coming off. This is the information on the picture, right, Paul? I don't know if you had to read that.
Page 13.
Yeah,
Oh, right here.
yeah, they got the paragraph there.
That should be there.
Well, I probably had changed it.
Okay,
Yeah, we'll tinker with some of them.
Yeah,
okay.
I'm just wanting to do that.
Before after pictures are always great. I would say the most unique one I'm looking at here is 59 North Lane Drive.
Oh, yeah, what was a closed porch and now is an open porch with the cantilever over the top.
Yeah.
That is a home run for special.
Huh.
New windows.
That is unique.
Oh, because they opened up the port.
Open covered porch.
Yeah, those windows are.
All the windows.
They changed the roof
It
line.
looks like it's totally
They
different.
changed the roof line and the window.
But it is the same house.
That it
Just
is.
so you know.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
That's why I'm like, are we sure?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, there's some building, God, we can talk about, but some building code issues that don't allow livable space with walls that low, so they raised the roof and changed it out.
Well, sounds expensive. What you think, guys?
Okay, it is taller.
You beat them up.
Raise the roof.
Yes. Literally raised.
They sure did.
It's a wild card.
But yeah, some of these are it's a Turpin Street. Anyways,
Page 9, so your acquisition date here is the date of.
Yeah.
Transfer date. So we're not including this path.
Yeah, we still are not positive. We may by the time of.
I was gonna say,
yes.
as of the time of this, you probably will, and they would probably want to know which
Yeah, so- We could put- we could put this in-
You can ask that. I don't know. You could ask that
Yes.
separately too, if you want.
We're not at the
Like,
same.
after-
venue. I mean, we didn't want to separate,
Maybe even Carol.
but yes, we certainly.
Yeah. You guys, what you want though? Okay, that's not against this. There are no. rules here.
How many of those have you anticipated?
Here's some.
I have a question, more for, I guess, inquiry, I guess, on page 9. Does so we have 11 in the northwest and then northeast, we have 12, and then the other 2 quadrant, we have like 4. Just asking, does this kind of show an indication of like the housing crisis or housing issue that we may have in the city on a whole? Just curious.
Not necessarily. These numbers are generally as a result of what properties actually make it through to the auction.
Mhm.
When the land bank used to bid, we would cut off everybody else, know we weren't in a competitive bid environment. We would just wait for properties that would actually not be redeemed. Right? And because there was so many more, the northwest and the northeast are the highest concentration of our foreclosures. So there would just be more in those quadrants to begin with. So the pool of available properties was much greater in the northwest and the northeast, and that kind of is reflected here. Southeast, we really don't take many to begin with. In the southwest, it's pretty stable. Not a lot of properties, not a ton of properties actually make it to the foreclosure auction from the southwest as well. So there's just more make it to the auction for northeast and northwest.
Really reflects just the economic demographics of the city rather than where housing is most needed.
To that point, you see the same streets over and over again. In foreclosure or several, like we'll have streets with multiple houses in foreclosure. So.
Right, change that 11 to a 10 on the south, northwest.
Oh.
You say 10.
And our chair will be presenting it, I'm sure it will be. Arrange for.
Yes, I would imagine that we'll get together before then. About how we want to present what we want. I can recall there were quite a few questions last time. So. I believe there was a lot of get back to you. Maybe.
Yeah.
Expect more of the same. Yeah, but we shall see. Any other items for the good of the board?
Yes.
Whoa.
Want to notify the board officially that we have taken title to 1090 Culver Road. The cobblestone house. Culver. Cobblestone / fieldstone house on Culver Road. We have taken title to it. We are now going to begin the arduous process of the full evaluation of that property. For the folks who may or may not know, it's been vacant for a long time. City / land bank was asked to step in and try to save this house before it was demolished. Long period of vacancy. Just to I'll give you the bullet point listing of kind of where we're going to go with this. Been vacant for a long time. Second floor has not been secured by the private owner. So there is what we believe a pretty significant infestation of birds and just general animal life there. With a expected high volume of guano. Familiar with the term guano. Essentially bird excrement that when it dries and powders, it's very easily airborne and toxic to human lungs. So all of that, including any other thing, has to be cleaned out so that it's safe for people to walk through or to have an air quality test done. We will also have to remove any pets that are any animals. Any animals that are taking shelter in the house. This is a good time of year to do it. You go around there in the summertime, there is a massive presence of wasps and bees. At least this time of year, they're not active. So that won't be a concern, but there are neighbors tell us that there's every animal under the sun besides deer in their house, you know? So we'll have to get all those out. We will then at some point, we're working on sequencing right now. Have to have the building evaluated structurally, to make sure it's safe for entry. Assuming it is safe for entry, we'll have the building scoped to its scope, to its CFO, its future CFO use. That scope will be provided to the appraiser for evaluation, and then we'll put it up for RFP and see what we get. If the structural analysis comes back that it is not safe for entry, we'll have to regroup at that point to see what. There is a lot of resistance to that building coming down. So if it's not safe for entry, we need to figure out if we're gonna go down that path, or if we're gonna spend money to make it safe for entry. More to come, but I just want to let you all know, we did take it. We have a road ahead of us, a lot of activity. City, DES and MBD contracts will be kind of combined to take care of all this pre-development activities.
It's its current legal use.
Its current legal use is commercial on the first floor, commercial on the first floor, and one unit on the first floor, and then a unit, separate unit on the second floor. It has to be developed to its most current C of O. Reason being is that it's been subdivided from the parcel. Right now, there's a small strip plaza, metal frame plaza, and then the cobblestone house is right next to it. Cobblestone house probably get this thick size paper between the building, house building and the strip plaza. It's that close. Building code there's some building code issues along with that. We can speak in further detail with Casman, but the real thing is that if we develop it to its most recent CBO, it doesn't trigger anything. We can develop it that way. There's fire separation requirements that it doesn't need, but if we do it to what it was, it won't trigger anything. And I think that's what we're gonna do. So there won't be any flexibility on our part as far as what some people want to do with it. This is how it must be developed.
So I did do a little bit of research that Paul was talking about to the state. So once the subdivision happened, right? Because that's part of it. You can continue using it as Paul was saying the same thing, but once you start changing to put in other uses in there, then the whole lot line separation comes into play with the structure. So that's one of the building code stipulation. Essentially, you just gotta continue using it as such, and you won't have any other triggers.
So there's some limitations as far as what people can do with it. But it does represent the most recent legal use, most recent CFO that was on the property. We don't think it will adversely impact viability of the building. But we'll let the market tell us that, and we'll put it out there.
Huge parking lot back as well.
That parking lot is going to go with the plaza.
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
Okay.
there's a small parking lot associated with that house, and it's to the, I guess that's the south of the building. Yeah. And so it was an access from that side road. So you're off the main road. So it does have its own parking. And we're gonna get out there. There's an awful lot to do with this building. We're gonna start first step and see where we go from there.
Well, it's not considered a preservation district property, is it?
No.
Good.
Not a landmark.
It has some historical thing
Oh.
because of the cobblestone.
Because of the cobblestone.
Yeah.
That there is that, but
If-
there's no
if it's-
significance beyond that.
That's the last remaining cobblestone in the city.
If it's a landmark, you might have to do a conservation board. But I don't know the status of it, so that might be where it's, so assuming you wanna change the exterior. I don't think it triggers anything on the interior. But that's something I hadn't even considered, so it's something we should probably.
No, I
talk to-
thought, did Matt, I
add some
thought maybe
notice.
Matt had looked at that.
Mhm.
I'd have to, we'd
He
have to
did.
go.
He said
I
no
thought Matt had
preservation
looked
board.
at it. I don't believe it needed anything.
Okay.
beyond.
So the strip mall, or strip plaza,
Oh, gosh.
so we just cut off the cobblestone house,
Mhm.
but the owner still has the other part, or? Oh,
Yeah, the owner owned the building, the strip plaza and the house. The house was being ticketed pretty heavily. And he offered the house to the city. this case now it's land bank. And for free, donated it to us with the condition that all those,
Fines.
fines be waived. Yep, initially we weren't really interested in that, but we were later convinced that it was a good idea.
Gotcha.
So we moved in that direction and now we're the proud owners of that 19 Fuller Road Cobblestone.
Well, you'll be happy to know that the last known thing that took place on that cobblestone, at least that I'm aware of, was back in my NeighborWorks days, and so that's going back probably 10 years ago with Healthy Blocks. We were working with that owner, trying to get some kind of better use, him selling it. But that never happened, obviously, but we did get permission from the owner to have a Halloween party there one Halloween night.
In the house?
Invited, not in the house.
Oh,
But we got lights in the backyard, we
It's
got
pretty
the police that
expensive.
came, and because it was a zombie house, the theme was everybody had to show up in a zombie costume. And we called it the Cobboween.
Oh, Halloween.
all right.
party.
Very good.
Okay.
So if it doesn't work out, we can always have Halloween parties.
All right.
Maybe that'll be our fundraiser.
That's right. There you go.
Okay.
So, is DES in a spearhead in getting an engineer on board for the evaluation, or how is that gonna happen?
We'll be using some DES term contracts for engineering, for pest removal, pest services. We'll work with, I don't know if they have anything under contract for the removal of some of the animal remain, excrement, I guess, for best like whatever. We'll see what they have under contract. We may have to contract that separately. Don't expect it to go over an amount that needs council involvement. But yeah, we'll be working hand in hand with DES with some of the term contracts along with the MBD contracts.
All right, thank you, Mr. Executive Director. Anything else for the good of the board? Hearing none, do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Moved and seconded, all in favor? Stand adjourned, thank you very much.
Back, yeah. It's your phone. I know that sounds right. What is it?
I think that's one that.
No, she comes in.
160. Oh, that was like, that was, was that one back to back?
Yeah,
I was gonna say, number one, why did we take
we
it?
did not take it, but we did reach out.
Como es que no lo aceptaron?
One
Wow.
of them,
I don't know, is it?
You reached out to the.
legislation.
Y a la pinta,
Their
le
neighbors.
ponen la boca.
It's,
I mean, Henry's.
Incentivized.
On building blocks, that's all right. That's not.
Let me get Cindy.
Okay.
What did I do?
You didn't do anything. 160 Dr. Sam.
Yes.
It looks like it's owner occupied according to our data.
We're not.
Wait, stop.
I didn't.
Yeah.